this time, let's please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you so much. Shay, may we have a roll call vote, please?
Ms. Jackson? Dr. Von Elliott?
Present.
Ms. Tisworth?
Present.
Ms. Williams?
Present.
Ms. Lane?
Here.
Ms. Maureen?
Present.
Dr. Coleman?
Present. Thank you. Ms. Maureen, would you be so kind, please, as to read our norms?
Thank you. These are the Board of Education norms. Number 1, cohesive team. Pause to hear all voices after someone speaks. Consider all opinions. Assume positive intentions. Number 2, collective agreement. Collective voices to reach decisions. Honor and respect the work of the board. Honoring and supporting the board decision at all times. Under number 3, be prepared for the meeting. The board will review the packet details and submit questions within the established time frame. Members of the board will arrive 5 minutes prior to the start of the meetings. Administration will release board packets to the Riverview Gardens Board of Education within the identified time frame. And under number 4, not allow outside entities to dictate board actions. Riverview Gardens Board of Education decisions will be made based on facts, policies, and procedures, not individual opinion or requests. And number 2, educate and encourage the community to follow proper protocol for voicing concerns, and that's policy KC, community engagement. Those are our board norms.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like a motion to approve the agenda.
Madam Chair, I so move.
It's been moved by Ms. Maureen
Second.
and second by Ms. Lane to approve the agenda. Are there any questions?
Madam Chair, are we prepared to give the election results as required by statute?
Yes, ma'am. We
Okay.
just received the results today, so if you would mind, would you make an amendment to the agenda to add that as item 10D? Thank you.
I move to amend the agenda to add item 10B, election results.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's been motion to amend the agenda to add item 10B, election results. Can I get a second?
Second.
And it's been seconded by Ms. Williams. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. At this time, we'll call for Mr. Sunstrick and Riverview Gardens Excellence.
Good evening, Board of Education, Dr. Patton, colleagues, communities, scholars, parents. It's great to see so many people out today and a lot of people at the board meeting. For Riverview Excellence, we have quite a few honorees, but we'll try to get through them while also just giving them their proper recognition. I'll ask Dr. Smith to make his way up here with me as well. First off, I want to mention that April 20th through 26th is Board Secretaries Week, and so we want to honor Ms. Shay Fields, our Board of Education Secretary. Ms. Fields. And Ms. Fields has been with the district since 2001, so she is a dedicated, committed employee here. Everybody who knows Shay knows she's a wealth of knowledge and history about the district, and so we want to say Happy Board Secretaries Week to Ms. Fields. Also at the last board meeting, we honored a lot of the team members for the STEAM night, and so Ms. J. Osler Brown wasn't able to be here with us then. We thought she'd be here tonight. She wasn't able to make it, but we do want to thank her for her contribution and working to help put together the STEAM night, and so we have a certificate for her, and we'll get that to her and her team because STEAM night was really a wonderful event, so we just wanted to make sure that we recognize her. And then for the high school, we have several honorees. I'm going to mention them, and then I'm going to let Dr. Smith say a little bit about them. If you are here in the building, please stand and let people know who you are. We also have certificates in the back for most of our honorees, and so if there's not one, we heard there may be a few that are missing. If there's not, let me know. We have them back at the office. I'll make sure that you get them. But first, we want to honor Miss Lariah P. Is Lariah in the building? Okay, she's watching on live, but Lariah has 100% attendance this year and straight A report cards. So let's give Lariah a hand. And next we have two brothers, I believe, Tavion and Tayshawn. Are they here? Tavion and Tayshawn were selected as the most improved scholars at Riverview Garden High School for the 24-25 school year.
Just real quick, the young lady, it's underselling her, just saying she has 100% attendance at straight A's, which is correct. But she also, if I'm not mistaken, she's a sophomore, and she also has, I think she already has like 17, 18 credits. She took Algebra 1 in middle school. She has a 4.3 weighted GPA. I mean, that young lady, she's a rock star. She really is. She's a rock star, and we're super proud of her, and we look forward to where she goes in the future.
So I'll speak on behalf of Tayshawn and Tavion Green. We actually have a bunch of Greens in our district, and so if you know them, you know that they are very unique students, but these two I've seen since 6th grade, and they have improved. I am so proud of them. They are juniors. Ms. Bryant is their administrator. She really nominated them, but just seeing them grow, they are amazing. I can go ahead and do the seniors. Okay, so we have our senior students. If I call you, if you can come up. These seniors will be graduating with their associate's degree. All right. And I'm sorry. My name is Courtney Rachel. I am the associate principal, so good evening to you all. We have first Phoenix Hempfield. We have Tamarius Toles. Kirsten Mosby. Jonathan Grant. And last but not least, our prom queen and our valedictorian, Tamaria Kennedy. All right, so we also have an amazing parent in the building. I met her when we were doing our mediations with Mr. Burns and Mr. Wharton, and she spoke not only into her own child, but to the other children at the table with their parents, and she just had some amazing words and motivation for our young ladies. We have Miss Lakeisha Howell, the parents of Mariah and Journey Cole.
So I'm gonna keep this brief. We have some staff members that we want to recognize. The first staff member we want to recognize is our amazing, outstanding, one of our amazing, outstanding Spanish teachers, Miss Alicia McElrath. So Miss McElrath has done an amazing job this year, just connecting with our students and having an open and wonderful atmosphere in her classroom. When I visited her classroom with a bunch of administrators from other districts, I had to beat them off with a stick because they were trying to steal her. But she's absolutely awesome. The next group I want to introduce is, we call them the Justice League. They are our freshman academy team. Can you guys come on up? Will Donegan, John Johnson, Michael Raleigh. Our freshman principal, Mr. Russ Hoven, is going to say a couple words about him.
So I wanted to recognize my team. Not here is Dr. Woodard and Mr. Pitts, but with us establishing the Freshman Academy this year, it's been really important to build relationships, have people ahead of situations as opposed to putting out fires. And this team has been absolutely phenomenal with laying the groundwork for future freshman academies. And I wanted to make sure that they were recognized, because the work that they do at the time that they do it has allowed me to go back to being a principal. And any gains we have in freshman academies because I've been able to be hands off of the important stuff that they do, and allows us to do the things we need to do in the classroom. And I am forever grateful for this team, and I wanted to make sure everybody knew that.
Next up, we have Dr. Ronald Competente. We call him Dr. RJ. Dr. RJ is one of our science teachers. He's one of our international teachers, and when I tell you that he has truly been a rock star in the classroom, he headed up our science fair, which was amazing this year, a great success. And he's really taken all of the newer international teachers under his wing, and he gets them acclimated to the Ramley and to our culture, and he just does an outstanding job, and we're super, super proud of Dr. RJ. Yes, and he also does our dual credit classes. All right. Last but not least, these two young men that I'm about to introduce, they are really the linchpin to creating or helping to create a positive culture here at Riverview Gardens High School. If you ask, I would say 90% of our students that aren't freshmen, if you ask 90% of our students, hey, who can you go talk to right now if you have an issue? One of their two names are going to be mentioned, right? One of their two names are going to be mentioned. That's how critical and important they are to Riverview Gardens High School. And so I want to introduce Mr. Nathan Burns and Mr. Thomas Anderson, members of our restorative team. They do an absolutely tremendous job. We would not be where we are this year without their help. And that is all. So I want to congratulate all of our honorees for our Riverview excellence tonight. Let's give them another round of applause.
All right, now, board, if we can get a photo.
The two brothers, are they here tonight? Oh, okay, all right, thank you.
Yeah, so if the board can take a photo with all of our honorees, and we may have to have some in the front, the more vertically challenged in the front, because I don't think we're going to fit everybody behind. So let's group up. And again, please check to see if you have a certificate in the back. If not, let me know. I'll make sure that we get that over to you. And that concludes Riverview Excellence.
Thank you. At this time, Shay, do we have any public comment? No, ma'am, we do not. Okay, thank you. For announcements and board remarks, I do want to say thank you to all of you all. This card says thank you all. So grateful that there are amazing people in this world, people like all of you, and this is from me. It says thank you for all your generous gifts and acts of kindness during board appreciation. Fondly, Dr. Coleman. Thank you so much. And is there anything else from the board?
Yes, Madam Chair.
Yes, ma'am.
Eventually, I'm hoping that I will be retiring. And I told Ms. Nave one of the things that I wanted to start doing was giving back to the students. When my daughter was a student here, I was one of the coaches of the speech, drama, and debate team. And so I was talking with my daughter and some of the people that were in there with her. And so we're going to be talking, and we'll be reaching out to see what we could do about getting the speech, drama, and debate team going again. I don't know who the teacher is of that, but I'll, try to find out who that is. But at that time, Riverview Gardens was one of the #1 schools as far as African American schools where the students competed. They were #1, and in many cases, they were the only team of African American students, and that's something that I've always been proud of. And so sometimes you can say, well, they should do this and they should do that, but if you know how to do it, I think that you should do it. And so that's what I'm going to be doing. The other thing that I'm going to be doing is what's near and dear to my heart, and all of the schools are near and dear to my heart, but LeMaster School is where I got my start in the district. And I had this conversation it's been a while that I had this conversation with the principal of LeMaster's. But one of the things that I'm going to do, because I see kids that should be in school, not in school. So as a parent, I'm going to make it a point to really work with LeMaster's about getting our kindergartners to attend school, and some of the things that we used to do. I'm going to be talking with him, and then he can share it with Dr. Patton. But that's near and dear to my heart. I'm tired of seeing babies that should be in school with their mothers or on the front playing. And so I just have to ask God what to help me say to him. I don't want to say anything to discourage him or make him angry or anything, but sometimes people just don't know, and sometimes you just have to go and acquaint yourself with them so that they understand the importance of their children attending school. So I just wanted to share that those are two commitments that I definitely plan to make as soon as the Social Security Administration will. Y'all pray. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Thank you so much, Ms. Walrell. Yes.
I always like to celebrate. So the meeting that we had the last time, we normally have meetings on Mrs. Sharp's birthday. So it was her birthday 2 weeks ago on the last board meeting, and she was absent, so I think she was celebrating this time and not coming to the board meeting. So happy birthday to you. And then we all know Precious Berry. I have been engaged with her since the time that she was on the board, and she has allowed me to participate in all of her journey. She's now the chapter president of a new chartered NAACP on WashU's campus, and 2 Saturdays ago she crossed Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated with the Alpha Omega chapter as a sophomore. So that's an achievement. So I just want to give her a shout out because she's continuing to shine bright for our district and do great things. So that was my announcements.
Thank you. Anyone else? Thank you so much. At this time, Matt.
Oh, she has.
Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Jackson, I didn't see you.
Hello, everybody. Can y'all hear me?
Here's the mic on. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. I serve as a member of the district's turnaround committee, and part of the turnaround committee requirements is that a board member must be a part of the turnaround of the committee. On Friday, April the 11th, 2025, principals of all turnaround schools with the Riverview Garden School District engaged in a shared learning experience, which allowed them to develop structures, enhance their understandings, managing a complex change in their schools. This observation was led by Clara Sales Davis. She's a leadership facilitator from Solution Tree and supported by Ms. Barbara Sharp, the Executive Director of Continuous Improvement Title IX Coordinator. The principals of each school, Highland Elementary, Lewis and Clark Elementary, and Meadows Elementary, they spent their morning engaged in learning walks of each school. The desired outcome for the leader, learning focused on the leader's ability to visit all 3 schools. The goal was to continue to firmly establish a high quality of collaboration network, discuss shared best practices as it relates to teaching and learning and the overall culture of the school, and engage in discussions of electronic platforms to archive and provide evidence of the work. And we had a great time, and we concluded with a group photo. So it was really nice, and I really appreciate being a part of the turnaround committee and for them allow me to be engaged in it. So thank you, Ms. Sharp.
Great, thank you. At this time, I'd like a motion to approve the consent agenda.
So move.
Second. And it's been moved by Dr. Elliott and second by Ms. Wanda Lane. Are there any questions? Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. And at this time, I get to turn it over to our illustrious superintendent, our student representatives. Report, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Keyshawn Word, one of the student representatives for the Riverview Gardens School District. Starting off, we have positive things happening at Riverview Gardens High School. First, starting off with our Murder Mystery Dinner. Our recent Murder Mystery Dinner, hosted by the Riverview Gardens High School Book Club, was a huge success, with a great turnout from students, staff, and families. Attendees had a fantastic time solving the mystery of Stan Deer while enjoying appetizers, dinner, and a dessert. It was a fun and interactive event that brought our community together.
Good evening. My name is Jewel Minner. Prom last Saturday was definitely a success. All the hard work put in by Ms. Atkinson, Ms. Whitney, and everyone else who was on prom committee truly shone through. We are incredibly grateful for their efforts.
In honor of Earth Day, the National Honor Society organized a flower fundraiser. Today, the flowers were delivered to everyone who had purchased them, adding some beauty and greenery to our school and community. It was a wonderful way to celebrate Earth Day and support a great cause.
The yearbook and journalism team have been hard at work. At prom, our students took over 700 pictures to capture the memories of the night. We also would like to announce that this year's yearbook theme is Hamilton. With this theme, we're incorporating unique content and creative citations that make this yearbook's edition really exceptional.
Students in AP Government will have the exciting opportunity to visit Memphis, where they will explore the National Civil Rights Museum located at the historic Lorraine Motel. During this visit, we will engage in an assignment that includes a scavenger hunt and reflect activities to connect our experiences at this museum to our classroom discussions. Additionally, we will visit the Rock and Soul Museum to dive into cultural impact of music and the civil rights movement.
The senior luncheon will be May 5th, and it's another exciting event on the horizon. During the luncheon, we will have senior superlatives as seniors have voted on them already and will be announced there. Students will also receive their stoles from their organizations they've been a part of to wear at graduation.
The Senior Sunset will take place on May 8th from 2:30 p.m. until the sun sets. This event will include kickball games, photo opportunities, and plenty of food and snacks. It is a great way for seniors to unwind and celebrate as they approach the end of their year. This event is organized and funded by the senior class officers.
DECA and NHS will be hosting their main event ceremony soon. Awards will be distributed, members will be recognized for their accomplishments, and food will be provided. It's a great opportunity to celebrate the success of the students in those organizations.
Students who participated in the Better Family Life classes will have the chance to attend at the rally at Schaefer's Arena. They will join students from other schools in an exciting and inspirational event that celebrates the impact of families and communities. Thank you, and this concludes our report.
I just have one question. I've been straining trying to read the last word on the T-shirt. What does it say?
It says, Riverview Gardens High School Class of 2025 is so fetch.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you for clearing up that word. I was very concerned there. Jewel, you shared some pictures with me, and I must say you looked great. And so thank you for sharing that with us. Did you guys have a good time? Yes. Okay. Did you get home safely? Yes. Everybody? Yes. All right. I'll stop asking questions. So the announcements that I have, I was voluntold to make an announcement from one of my bosses up here, but we forgot to mention that the attendance winners for the district was Moline, Glasgow in first place, Glasgow in second place, and Lewis and Clark in third place. So give those particular schools a round of applause. Attendance is very important. Ms. Morrill, thank you for speaking out on the attendance of our kindergartners, because that is foundational, and we have to have our parents understand that. So thank you. When do you retire again? Because I need you on that job there. So
I can start now because it looks like I think they're hiding my paperwork at work.
Okay.
Because they keep giving me projects.
Okay. I'll call your job tomorrow. I'll get you fired real fast, Ms. Morrill, so you can start
I
working.
do want to do one thing, if that's okay.
Okay,
too.
go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. A lot of you may know or may not know that I am a banker. I am a part of two organizations. One organization is the Metropolitan St. Louis CRA Association of Bankers. We're 38 banks strong, and our main objective is to call attention to the needs of low to moderate income communities. The other organization that I'm a part of is a spinoff of a group called STRUP, which is the St. Louis Regional Unbanked Task Force. And so what we do, that group is made up of bankers, pastors, lay people, nonprofits, and what have you. And so I hosted, co-hosted, or served on a committee which was the Clergy Connection Networking event, because a lot of people go to church, and we want to reach out to churches to help their members. And so I wanted to publicly thank Dr. Avant Elliott for attending on behalf of her church. It really made me feel good to see somebody that I knew there, and so I just wanted to publicly thank her for coming out with that.
It was really
Coming
good.
out to that event.
Thank you. It was really good.
Thank you, Ms. Morrill. The other, I do have just a couple more announcements. Graduation is May 22nd. It will be at UMSL at 6 p.m. So congratulations to all of our seniors. We, of course, will have a couple of more, well, actually one more meeting before the graduation. So congratulations to all of our seniors. MAP testing has began, and EOC testing that will go into May 23rd. Our kindergarten roundup will be May 15th at Gibson from 5 to 7. Kindergarten roundup, parents, if you have kindergartners in your home, please send them to us so that we can get them registered for school and get them. There are lots of fun activities that the Student Services Department has planned for that. Registration for the 25-26 school year will open on Monday. So please go online. You will receive information. Parents, you will receive information either by the end of the week. You will receive information. We have a new system, and so you will receive information on how to register. You will need proof of residency, proof of immunizations, and then an identification with your current address. And then on May the 7th, we will celebrate our retirees, our teacher and support staff of the year. The theme is the heart of education, and so we will celebrate those who have gotten the award of Teacher of the Year and Support Staff of the Year, as well as those who have given their 30-some years of teaching, and wish them well. So please join us. That'll be May the 7th. Thank you, Dr. Coleman. That is all of the superintendent's announcement.
Thank you so much. This time, if you want to move into.
Moving into items for information. Thank you, Dr. Coleman. The first item up for information is the data presentation from the high school. Making this presentation is Ms. Barbara Sharp. She is the Executive Director of Continuous Improvement in Title IX. And joining her will be Dr. Jared Smith, who is the principal of the Riverview Gardens High School. This is in conjunction with Policy IA, Instructional Goals and Priorities, and IGAB, Instructional Intervention. Ms. Sharp?
Good evening to the Riverview Gardens School District Board of Education, Superintendent Patton, colleagues, scholars,
Sharp.
and members of the community.
I'm sorry, speaking to Mike. It's not projecting.
I am so sorry. Is this better? I have never been accused of not being able to communicate, so this is a challenge. Thank you. Can you hear me now?
We want the
Testing,
people on Zoom to be able to
testing.
hear you.
Hmm?
The people on Zoom, so they can hear you.
Good evening. Is it better? Good evening to the Riverview Gardens Board of Education, Superintendent Patton, colleagues, scholars, and members of this amazing learning community. Tonight, as part of the district's collective commitment towards continuous school improvement, all K through 12 schools within the district are actively engaged in the work of priority schools in a PLC initiative. This work is led by Solution Tree, and it is supervised by yours truly. It's also supported by key leaders within the district. Tonight, the amazing principal from the Riverview Gardens High School will present systematic school improvement efforts, which include overall student performance and in their STAR assessment in the area of mathematics, a comparison of student data in the DESE tested areas, as well as other data to support the accomplishments of this great institution. At the completion of this presentation, Dr. Smith will receive any questions that you may have. Please receive Dr. Smith at this time.
Good evening, Riverview Gardens School District School Board, Dr. Patton, district leadership, colleagues, and community. I am Dr. Jared Smith, and I stand humbly and proudly as the head principal of the Riverview Gardens High School. Before I get into my presentation, I wanted to make sure that I acknowledged my administrative team. Nothing that I'm talking about today, none of the gains that I talk about today could have been possible without a lot of people, and some of those key people are my assistant principals and associate principal in this room. So I'm going to ask for my team to stand. We have Ms. Courtney Rachel, who is the associate principal at Riverview Gardens High School, and she's also the principal of the senior class. We have Ms. Remy Bryan, an assistant principal at Riverview Gardens High School, and she's also the principal for the junior class. We have Mr. Jameson Rusthoven, who's assistant principal here at Riverview Gardens High School, and he's also the principal of our freshman academy, so he's the principal of our freshman class. Our sophomore principal, Dr. Daniel Jones, he wanted to be here. He's driving from Des Moines back to St. Louis from a funeral, but he called me earlier and said, "Man, Dr. Smith, I really wish I could be there." So he's here in spirit with us anyway. All right. Next slide, please. Or do I have this work? Oh, okay. Where do I point it? Oh, I guess I'll turn it on. That'd be good. There we go. All right. This is our agenda that we'll go over tonight. I'm not going to belabor that. Let's just jump right into it. The first slide that you're looking at is a comparison slide of our 2023, 2024, and 2024-2025 attendance data. And so we look at attendance in two ways. We look at it from the lens of our ADA, or our average daily attendance. In other words, how many kids come to school every day. And we also look at it from the lens of our proportional. I didn't do it. We also look at it from the lens of our proportional attendance, which is more commonly known as our 90-90 attendance. In other words, our goal is to make sure that 90% of our students are coming to school 90% of the time. If you look at our ADA data from 2023-24 to 24-25, you see it's fairly similar. We ticked up a couple points this year, and we plan on continuing to go in that direction. While our 90-90 attendance, of course, throughout the district is still a point of concern. We were doing. I'm not even gonna say we were doing fairly well, because we weren't. But we were doing better than we had been doing. And then those winter months hit us, and we took a little step back. But what I will tell you is, as a new principal and having my new administrative team, we're constantly looking at the data, and we're constantly coming up with programming and systems to promote and increase our attendance. We have attendance meetings weekly, where we sit down, all of the attendance team, our counselors, home to school coordinators, administrators, social workers. We all sit down and we all look at our attendance data. We look at individual students, we look at students as a whole, and we come up with plans and programming to get those students to come to school. We have attendance challenges. The kids love those. And our home to school coordinators are hard at work, making phone calls, visiting families, doing home visits to get our students to come to school. So we know that that's a national problem, but right now we're concerned about Riverview Gardens High School and making sure Riverview Gardens High School gets its 90-90 attendance where we need it to be. I also just kind of want to point out that attendance is also tied to culture. So as we continue to improve the culture at the high school, as we continue to make it a place where students want to come and where their parents want to send them, we'll also see increases in that attendance. So I'm super excited about this slide. This is the slide that I probably was the most excited about. One thing that I'm proud of here at Riverview Gardens High School is that this year, for the first time in a while, we have a fully staffed math department, staffed with certified teachers. And that's important. And if you look at the green highlights, you can see how that matters. You see our growth. You're looking at 23 fall star data, 24 winter star data, and then the last one is our 24-25 fall and winter data. And you can see we in 24 we had a slight uptick in our proficient and advanced categories. But if you look at this year, if you look at the green at the very last column on the very last chart graph, you see significant improvement in math with our 9th graders, our 10th, and even our 11th graders, even though it's a small percentage of them. But you see significant improvement in our math data. And that's really just a testament to our math department, our instructional coaches, our PLCs. The work that we've been doing with Solution Tree has really been paying off. Our PLCs are really coming together, and they're really using that data that they're gathering in their classrooms to drive instruction and to help provide interventions for our students. And I'm really excited to see what our math scores are going to look like on the EOC. I really am. So our EOC, this is our cohort data from the last 3 years of our EOC. You have 22, 23, and 24 in ELA, math, biology, and social studies. And I just want to point out again, I highlighted it again, we had already started, even before this year, we had already started making some small gains in math, but gains nonetheless. So once again, I'm just excited about what we're going to do in all of our areas, but specifically, since we're talking about math tonight, I'm specifically excited about what we're going to do in math. One thing I'll say is just because this is cohort data, we can kind of infer that we'll see that same significant growth that we're seeing on the STAR. We'll see that on the EOC as well, which our students are taking now during the month of April. And once again, you know, being a new principal, you know, a lot of times you just get a lot of data and a lot of numbers thrown at you, and your job is to kind of sift through those and find the relevant points and figure out how we can move forward. And once again, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna continue saying this, and I say it all the time to anybody that'll listen. As a new principal, having good people around you is critical, and it's key. And so the team, not just the administrators, but the instructional coaches, the teachers, our students, the entire school has really taken hold of the systems that we've put in place and the systems that we're continuing to put in place to keep us moving forward. I just want to make sure I say that. All right. So some celebrations as a staff this year. One of our high yield strategies, one of those strategies that gives us the best results. One of the strategies that we focused on is student discourse, and basically student discourse is really how many students are actively, or how are the students actively engaged in the learning. Okay. So what you're looking at, if you look at the graph on the top left, you see that big blue area. This has got a thing on it, a little laser pointer. You got a laser? No. Oh, we do. Okay. Oh, can you see it? Okay, never mind. If you look, you see the big blue area, right? That's 66.7%. All right. So when we went into classrooms at the beginning of the year, 66.7% of the classrooms that we went into, 0 students were actively engaged in learning. Okay. That's not to say that they were never engaged in learning, but when we visited, 66% of the classrooms that we visited, 0 students were actively engaged in the learning, in student discourse. Go over and you see that blue area is a lot smaller. So the first graph represents when we went in September. The second graph represents when we went in February. Now, what happened in between that time? In between that time, once again, our staff bought in and said, you know what, our high yield strategy is going to be student discourse. And so our ICs and our administrators, during our late start Wednesdays, during our PDs, that's what we honed in on. That's what we focused on, okay? So if you look at that second graph at the top right, only 20% of the classrooms that we visited had 0 student engagement. 80% of the classrooms that we visited had some form of student engagement, right? Some was high, some was low. It's a process, right? But 80% of the classrooms that we visited had students actively involved in their learning, and that's definitely worthy of applause. But don't applause yet, not yet. Hold on, let me get finished. If you look at the bottom, if you look at the mustard colored one, another piece of student discourse and active engagement is checking for understanding, right? Because as teachers check for understanding, that allows for adjustments in instruction to ensure students are learning. So if you look at that bottom graph on the left, I wanted 47, I can't see the numbers, but I'm pretty sure it was 47% of the classrooms that we visited, no checking for understanding, right? No checking for understanding. We come back, February, you don't see any mustard. Every classroom that we visited, teachers were checking for understanding. Teachers were checking to see if students mastered the material, if they mastered the concepts. And the pink area, that represents, I want to say that was 60% 60% of those classrooms, 100% of the students got checked for understanding in those 60% of the classrooms that were visited. So we're super, super proud of what we're doing and the growth, and now would be a kind of good time to clap. So we're excited. We're excited about the direction that we're heading in. I threw in I slid in an extra slide because there are some other things that are going on in the high school that I'm really proud of, and I definitely want to highlight. Right now, as it stands, our seniors have been awarded $10.1 million in scholarships as it stands. And the scholarships are steady rolling in, so that number will grow by the time we get to graduation. You met 4 of the 5 students that are graduating with their high school diploma and associate's degree. I don't know if people really understand how massive that is to graduate from high school, not only with a high school diploma, but with a college degree at 18. I'm gonna let it sink in, but we're gonna keep pushing. We still have 697 students, that's 62% of our student population, that have 0 referrals. They have no referrals. We still have the majority of our students coming to school every day, working hard, trying to get a good education, right? And we've also seen a 42% reduction in fighting, and that's something that we're proud of. So, I'm just going to end by just saying I'm super proud once again, and I'm humbled to be the head principal right here at the Riverview Gardens High School. And I'm proud of the work that we're doing as a school and as a district, because we work hard to make sure that we are the school and the school district of choice. I am done, and I will take any questions.
Go ahead.
Great job on the improvements. We haven't heard anything about fights. That is so awesome. I don't know what you all are doing over there with them. They may be online or something. But that is great information. As far as the data, you all do how many walkthroughs, for example, a week? Walkthrough data and walkthrough, whether it's you or your team together.
So I don't require my APs to do like a certain number of walkthroughs. But like Mr. Rusthoven kind of mentioned earlier, by having people in place, our restorative team, our home to school coordinators, our Justice League down in the freshman academy, because my mandate was at the beginning of the year and throughout the year was I want you all to be principals. not just disciplinarians. I want you to be principals. So I don't require a certain number. I know I do maybe 10, 15 a week, and I think my APs probably do more than I do.
Okay.
But I don't have a hard number for you, but we're definitely in the classrooms.
What has been some of your strategies to reduce the discipline?
You know, once again, going back to our restorative team, I cannot overstate the Mr. Burns and Mr. Anderson, also Coach McElrath, Mr. Thompson, Mr. Graham, our restorative team, Mr. Wharton. They do a phenomenal job of preventing and preempting a lot of situations that would have turned into those big fights, those things that we've seen. And honestly, every day every day I get on the intercom because I can't get on every day, but I kind of pour into them. I give them a motivational quote when I get on the announcements in the morning, and then you know, honestly, I just have, there are certain things that I just kind of have zero tolerance for, and getting physically violent with each other is one of those things that I just kind of have zero tolerance for, and I've made that plain. I've made it known. I've made it known in how we handle fights as far as the discipline is concerned, and the students they've caught on, and they understand that if you look at the restorative data, because our restorative team, they keep track of all of the restorative circles and the interventions and mediations that they do. Those numbers are way up, because students understand, I want to be in school. Another thing is we do a lot of pep rallies and little different fun things that students want to be here for. And they know if they fight, they're not going to be here for those things. And so they take it upon themselves to really go to who they need to go to, talk it out, figure it out, and try to move forward.
Great, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
President. Dr. Smith.
Yes, ma'am.
There's been some information in the news recently about another district where cell phones have been eliminated. At least that's what they say.
That's what they say.
Yes, sir. I added that part because, you know, that's what they say. But we have the Yonder Pouch program. How do you think it's working? Do you think it's effective? Do you think we could go further than that? Because we all know how distracting these telephones are. And it's a different world from when I was in school 100 years ago, but it is what it is. What do you think about that?
So I definitely think that the Yonder Pouch program plays a role and has a place in managing cell phone abuse, as the policy calls it, cell phone abuse. When I looked at our discipline data, the last time I looked at it, which was either today or yesterday, I did notice that we only had, for the year, we only had 50 instances of cell phone violations. Once again, I think it kind of goes back to when you're engaging students in learning, when you're engaging them in the classroom, when you're making learning interesting and fun, when you're making school a place students want to be, some of those other issues kind of go away. I don't think, if you're asking me, do I think we need to totally ban cell phones? No, I don't. I think it would cause more harm than it would do good, for a couple different reasons. But the Yonder pouches are valuable. They do work, and they've become kind of part of our restorative discipline procedures and processes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Dr. Smith, I was looking at, and if you could help me or clarify some information, looking at your math slide, and I noticed that we didn't have data for the seniors in the 23 or 24 year, and then here, and it says that 1 in 12th grade. Are the seniors not being tested in that area? Tell me why that looks like it looks.
Well, I mean, by the time our students get to be seniors, they've so this is algebra 1, right? So by the time our students are seniors, they're well past
The algebra 1.
Yes, ma'am.
So then on the 24, 25 fall winter percentages, shouldn't that be blank like the other 2 years rather than having that 100% in the below basic column?
Well, so in the 24, 25, and I kind of notated it down at the very bottom. So we did have one senior that took that test in 24, 25, and that one senior did score below basic. That's why that number's there.
I don't know, I guess I'm looking at, and I understand perfectly now, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm just wondering, should that be, it's ambiguous. When I'm looking at this, I go, whoa, until I see the part where you say one person. So I'm wondering, should we even include that when it's like that in the reporting? Because it does kind of make you think, what happened to you, unless you know the fine print.
Right.
So that people don't take that information and run
And
off
run with it.
and say, over there, all the seniors are failing, and that's just not the case.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, okay.
And of course, I have a question, well, I have two very quick questions. Has the math department been fully staffed the entire school year?
Yes.
And how many of those teachers that have staffed the math department are retired teachers that have come back to support us?
1.
Thank you.
Good job.
Oh, well, yeah, Lenoir, yeah, 2.
2, okay. Okay,
Thank
that
you
was
so
my question.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Our next item up for information is the fund balance report ending March 31st. Making this presentation and making her first presentation in front of our board is our new CFO, Ms. Stephanie Terry, and this is in conjunction with policy DIAA fund balance. Ms. Terry?
Greetings, Riverview Garden School Board, Superintendent Patton, and everyone else in the room. That was a hard act to follow, but I'm going to try to do my best. So, you guys have seen all of the information that has been submitted for the fiscal ending March 31st reports. So, I have been here three weeks. So, within those 3 weeks, what we've been working on, we've been continuing to monitor the district's budget. We've been doing that daily, on a daily basis. So I do have to report that some progress has been made, but we still have a lot of work to do. For the current year, FY 24-25, in January, it was a projection that the district would end in a deficit budget of $23 million. With much needed adjustments and conservative spending practices that have been implemented, we are now projected to end at $18.5 million. So although that is some progress, we've had to make a lot of cuts and reduce our spending. So we have a projected fund balance, which is just projected anticipated fund balance to end the year at 23%. And that's up from 18.5% that was presented earlier in the year. So that is progress. So moving into FY 25-26, we still have a situation where we will be projected to have higher expenses, where our expenses will exceed our revenue by $8 million in our operating funds 1 and 2. So we've had plenty of discussions surrounding right sizing measures, and reductions have been identified to help with closing the $8 million gap. So for FY 25-26, we have an anticipated fund balance of 15%. Those are just projections at this point. So our overall goal is to have a balanced budget with 15% fund balance, which will keep us in compliance, which will keep the district in compliance. But in terms of our long-range goals, what we're constantly looking at the budgets, we're pulling up the budgets, trying to find any opportunity to increase revenue or identify opportunities for higher revenue to come into the district. So moving forward with the new projections of the proposed budget, we anticipate to have our first draft of the projected 26 budget at the first meeting in May. And then we're going to work to fine tune that budget. And we can anticipate to have a proposed budget June 1st with the approval date for the second meeting in June. And that is all I have for today. Thank you. Are there any questions?
Could you repeat the proposed date for the budget?
So the proposed, I just have dates for the
Okay.
draft, the first meeting in May. We anticipate having a draft where we still need to get input and fine tuning for the second meeting with a proposed budget for the 25-26 year to be presented June, the first meeting in June. So any questions?
Thank you, Ms. Terry.
Thank you.
Our next item up for information is the program evaluation, federal programs, McKinney-Vento homeless education, training, migrant, and foster care. Making this presentation is Ms. Stephanie Shumpert. She is the coordinator for students in transition, and Ms. Deirdre Liddell. She is the executive director for student and community support. And this is in compliance with policy IGBCA programs for homeless students. Ms. Shumpert?
Good evening. Greetings to the Riverview Gardens School District Board of Education, Dr. Patton, colleagues, and community. I am Stephanie Shumpert. I am your Students and Transition Coordinator for the district. Our first thing we're going to discuss is changes that have been made over the last year. We have not had any changes. The three of us that are in this office have been in the roles for, this is our 5th year. Goals and objectives. The goals and objectives for the Students in Transition office basically are to adhere to the district's implementation plan and also the student handbook for the students in transition. Our goal is also to remove any barriers that our families may find them having as far as getting to school or even being enrolled in school if they're in the district. We also, our other goals are to identify families that are in need in the district, meaning unhoused or living with relatives inside of our district and even outside of our district. And also to ensure scholars meet or exceed the attendance goal, which is also definitely a struggle. Tools and criteria to evaluate these items. We typically are doing a lot of case management on a day-to-day basis, or actually when time permits. I am also participating in best interest determination meetings daily with Children's Division and also the other various schools and also various agencies. I'm sorry. Success. of program based on data and analysis of effectiveness. We require every parent, every family that ends up completing the SIT application or the McKinney-Vento survey, we require them to complete or do the application, which is online. So we're continuously even emailing or texting our families the QR code, or even directing them to the schools, the district's website where they can complete it. We take no more than 24 hours to 48 hours to get back to those families, to be able to provide them, assist them with whether it's transportation, enrolling, and also school supplies that we also offer in our office. We have a social worker in our office that also delivers to either the school and some homes supplies of laundry supplies, school supplies, backpacks, body wash, soaps, and different things of that nature. So we actually have an office inside of our in Moline Elementary that we have our supplies, and so we're continuously even inviting parents up to be able to come up to the school to pick up supplies, as well as delivering the supplies to them. Another thing is just continuing to remove barriers toward ensuring all SIT students have access to educational opportunities, whether it's training, school personnel, being able, and being able to answer questions from school buildings and the principals and teams in the different buildings. We provide transportation for approximately 350 students every single year and almost every day, consistently monitoring their attendance, grades as far as SIT scholars, and connecting with those families pretty much daily, weekly, and monthly. And our last thing is, we did this about a year ago, but we're able to add the SIT icon so we can easily identify those families that we know need the assistance, or know that have actually registered in our office, to make sure that everyone is pretty much aware that those people are out there and they maybe need a little bit of help. Opportunities for next steps. Again, just continuing to work with our different various school buildings, the principals, the assistant principals, the social workers around the district, establishing community connections, ensuring housing, food, and any other resources that we are made aware of, and providing those to those families. The other thing is just providing ongoing support to district personnel. We get calls daily as to, is this family SIT? Can you help them? And things of that nature. And so, yes, we help every family that ends up calling us, just so they're not given the runaround or sent in other directions. And questions and/or concerns? I know y'all have them.
Ms. Shumpert, what agencies do you all partner with to assist the families that are in this program?
Well, we have, who do we have? Who are we working with? We just had a meeting with.
So we just had a meeting with Better Family Life. Better Family Life has a grant program, and with that grant program, they provide on-the-job training, different things for life skills. They also provide transitional housing for some of our unaccompanied youth. And then there's also a program where they can actually get stipends for going through the processes of this. However, Students in Transition work with all of the program and agencies that we have MOUs with throughout the district. So our programs are not just germane to all of the other schools. All of our students that are in students in transition have access to all of our regular district programs.
And is the number of students increasing or decreasing or staying about the same each year?
Well, I will tell you, it actually decreased this year, which was good, because this time last year we had about 700 SIT families or SIT scholars. This year we are at 476, which means basically we've dropped. I believe a lot of them have maybe moved out of the area, but yeah.
Thank you.
I just wanted to compliment Ms. Shumpert. To be transparent, my mother grew up with her family, and so she connected my mother with her relatives. But while she was giving me the information, and this was real early in the morning, she was receiving calls from parents needing assistance to get their kids to school. So, I mean, early. So I just wanted to commend her. You know, that wasn't even the start of the day, but she was on top of it. So I just wanted to commend you for that. And I was just amazed, you know, with the number of people. You know, I consider myself very blessed. So I just wanted to commend you for that.
Thank you, Mrs. Shumpert. I don't want to get in the way of Ms. Shumpert's applause. Go ahead, you all. Go ahead. There we go. The next item up for information is the 2025 program evaluation for library media centers. Making this presentation is Ms. Tanya Ross. She's the ELA curriculum coordinator, and this is in conjunction with policy IIAC, Instructional Media Center School Libraries. Ms. Ross? Oh, and your team. Okay.
Yes. Good evening, Riverview Gardens School Board, Superintendent Dr. Patton, colleagues, and school community. Tonight we're offering up our program evaluation for our library media centers. Joining me is Ms. Darcy Lesher, who's a librarian at Glasgow Elementary, and Ms. Carla Shealy, who's the librarian at Gibson, and they will be providing the presentation tonight. In addition to that, we have all of our librarians that could be present tonight. If you all would please stand. We have some special recognition. Ms. Christina Atkinson is the senior sponsor for our high school. Ms. Caitlin Nay, Building Teacher of the Year at Highland. And this is also Library Appreciation Month. They've had a day, they've had a week, and they are also responsible for the month. So please give them all a round of applause.
Right, changes we have made since last year. All librarians have received training and are implementing Accelerated Reader. At the end of this school year, all of us will have completed letters training. That's all of us K through 5. All K through 5 librarians provide reading intervention to classroom teachers, the students in the classroom. We no longer use World Book Online for research due to usage data and budget cuts, but we do have a couple of alternatives listed there.
Next up is goals, if we can get it there. All right. Our goals every year are to increase circulation. We also work to update our library collection, by weeding out our old books and bringing in new books, working to align literacy instruction to our Missouri learning standards, that's every year, provide media and digital literacy skills, and collaborate with classroom teachers to support instruction across all disciplines. So they let us know what we need, and we try to provide that for them. Look, it moved on. How do we evaluate that? How do we know we're doing that? We use Destiny Manager and the Overdrive Marketplace, and that gives us our circulation numbers, and we do that monthly. The Library Media Center teacher collaboration documentation. If they've asked us for something, we document what we're doing with them. Our title-wise analysis that is also collected through our Follett, which is what Destiny is through. And then we use Renaissance for our accelerated reader data.
The success of our program, we have increased our collections, that would be the copyright average of our books, from 2008 to 2009. And on the average, 7 out of 9 of our elementary schools have increased their copyright average by at least 1 year. We have scholastic book fairs at several of our schools, Meadows, Gibson, Lewis, and Clark. And we received some donations from the Little Bit Foundation. They come in the fall and typically twice a year to each school, and they provide books for our children to take home. And accelerated reader, so far this year, our students have read 3,759,103 words. And it's the first year that we've had it in all of the elementary schools, so that is a very good number for that. Our next steps, to be intentional about improving our read alouds during library time, utilize data to promote literacy, double the word count for accelerated reader, aggressively weed, which means getting rid of our older books or no longer needed books, and add books to our library collections, and encourage library use across all disciplines, all subject areas. Some pictures of some of the wonderful things that go on in our libraries. Any questions?
Quick question over here. As far as your data on the books that you find children really enjoy, what does the data suggest? And do you try to incorporate more of those books in?
Absolutely. So, they always love the books that we read aloud to them. Those always become their favorites. So we ensure that we have at least one or multiple copies on the shelves, and then we can kind of tell their interests, or we can give them an interest questionnaire to see what they're interested in. And also when we order our books, especially through Follett, we can, they have different sections where we can search for the most popular books, what kids are reading right now. So I think that's how we usually.
The ones that are most worn as well. They should be the most, so we order more of those.
What is your return rate? Do you get the books back?
Mine is pretty high. I think it varies. It varies from school to school, but we try.
I do have a question. Can you explain increased collections or?
Okay, that's our copyright year. So we when we do inventory, it inventories all of our books, and then it takes the average copyright year for those books. So we which dates your collection. Our goal is to be at. You want to speak to that?
Yes, we're supposed to be within anywhere from 10 to 11 years. It is linked to the board presentation. It is titled Title Map, and what I've provided is the data for the last 3 years, and so you can see the gradual increase in the copyright years for each library.
Thank you.
I have a question about the accelerated reader. First of all, I was excited to get that when we decided to do that at the end of last year for this year. Have you noticed an increase in the number of books students are reading, and are we keeping track of the number of books each student is reading in each building?
I see a huge increase in the number of books that the kids want to read and take accelerated reader quizzes on. We do it different ways. I require them to have one accelerated reader book a week, but many of them want to have 2 or 3. They're very motivated to read.
We're still just getting it rolling at Gibson, so it has increased as we go.
We have been doing it at Glasgow since I've been there, and I've seen wonderful enjoyment of reading with the kids, and they love working for prizes, they love working for rewards, they love seeing their points increase, so I think it's very beneficial.
And also on one of the data sheets that says 8R, you have the K through 2 number of checkouts, and you have grades 3 through 5 checkouts for accelerated reader. So as each one of those grade span number increases, then our word count and the usage will increase. But it was a great accomplishment, number one, for all the libraries to be trained, and number two, for everybody to get it actually implemented in the first year.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Moving into items for discussion. Our first item up for discussion is the extracurricular and co-curricular academic program. Making this presentation is Ms. Tiffany Buchanan. She is the Assistant Superintendent of Curriculum and Instruction. And this is in conjunction with policy GCKA, Professional Staff Extra Duty, and IGC, Extended Instructional Programs. Ms. Buchanan?
Good evening, Board, Superintendent Dr. Patton, colleagues and community. Tonight I bring to you for a discussion the extracurricular and co-curricular activities. Like Dr. Patton stated, it is in accordance with policy GCKA, Professional Staff Extra Duty assignments. The 2025-26 standard operating procedures for extracurricular and co-curricular activities include a summary of the proposal process, salary schedule, and evaluation process. Activities offered at each school are approved by the principal for submission to central service. Extracurricular and co-curricular activities offer students valuable opportunities to cultivate both creative and academic competencies through structured participation in clubs, educational programs, and school-based initiatives. Your packet includes the list of extracurricular and co-curricular activities and the stipends that accompany them. It is recommended that the RGSD Board of Education approve the standard operating procedures for the extracurricular and co-curricular academic programs for the 25-26 school year for an amount not to exceed $150,000. Are there any questions?
Yes, a quick question. Are there any major changes in the activities from last year to this year, and if so, what are they?
No, ma'am, no changes.
Okay. Ms. Tiffany Buchanan, rolling right into the summer school summer enrichment. Making this presentation is Ms. Buchanan, and it is in conjunction with IGAB, Instructional Interventions. Ms. Buchanan?
Good evening again. So in accordance with the Senate Bill 681, we are strongly encouraged to host summer school, to have summer school for our scholars. So this year we changed summer school, or we are recommended to change summer school just a little bit, but it's important to note that the expenditures for the 2024 summer school already appear in munis because they were paid after July 1st of 24. These expenditures were funded through ESSER 3 and are separate from the 2025 summer school budget. And so some recommendations for summer school 2024-25 to operate are as follows. We are under these assumptions that students in grades 3, 4, and 5 would not to exceed 415 students, and these scholars qualify based on their STAR reading data as identified in Senate Bill 681. And so I won't read through all of these assumptions. You have them before you, but this is the our ideas for summer school for the 24-25 school year for grades 3 through 5. We are requesting 2 buildings, Lewis and Clark and Danforth. For middle school, specifically 8th grade, we are requesting virtual through launch. And high school will be Edgenuity for credit recovery. We are also partnering with Boys and Girls Club of St. Louis for additional supplementary. Aim High for our incoming 6th graders. We actually just had our Aim High night on April 16th. And then we are also partnering with Little Bit Foundation for support with our 4th and 5th graders with novel engineering for science. Senate Bill 681 requires all districts to offer additional reading support for scholars who are reading below grade level. So it is recommended that the Riverview Gardens School Board of Education approve the implementation of all programs presented in the school year 24-25 summer school and summer enrichment programs. A recommendation for approval will be presented later in the meeting. What you also have before you is the entire list of all of the programs that will be offered through summer school. Some of them will be funded through GOB, and some of them are federally funded. Are there any questions?
As far as Edgenuity, who would be monitoring that? I know that sometimes when students are taking classes, they got to do a reset. You know, is there a counselor? I don't see a staff person assigned with a monetary value to support Edgenuity.
So that is at the building level, high school building level, so.
And then while he's coming up, my other question is, oftentimes school districts, because of freshmen and their behaviors and concerns, they do freshman transition. Is that going to be some way incorporated, maybe a week, a couple of days? If so, you know, I'm sure a budgetary amount need to be added to that.
Good evening again. So to answer that first question, who will be monitoring? So it'll be our counselors, as well as our credit recovery teachers who are, you know, extremely familiar with Edgenuity and the processes and procedures and all those things. And then we've identified a few other teachers who've done summer school in the past, and they're familiar with the process. They're familiar with the platform. So they're very well versed to monitor. As far as the second question, freshman orientation, that does happen. That happens closer to the beginning of the school year, where we invite all of our incoming 9th graders, and they come up, they meet teachers, they tour the campus, visit classrooms, get themselves acclimated with the campus. But that'll happen closer to the beginning of the 25-26 school year.
And so with Edgenuity, you all won't extend any opportunity for students to advance and get credit early. It's just going to be recovery. So like if somebody wanted to squeeze in there and get some.
No, well, we don't know, because we only have a limited number of teachers, and
Okay.
the teachers, they have a limited number of students they can have on their caseload to effectively manage that. So no, we unfortunately we don't have that credit extension piece.
Who is it going to be extended to? All students or juniors, seniors? Who get priority with the credit recovery?
So our summer school program at Success Academy, that'll be more geared towards our 9th and 10th graders.
Okay.
And they'll be going in person. And our Edgenuity piece, that's mainly for our juniors and seniors.
Okay. And is that budgeted? Like, where is that listed?
Yeah, that's
in your
under
numbers?
in our federal budget. And yes, it's budgeted.
So it won't be on this summer school one?
So
Yeah, that's what I'm
the document that you have that's attached to that, it has all of the programs listed at the various schools and whether it will be funded through the GOB or federally funded. So the program that Dr. Smith is referencing is federally funded.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
So, Ms. Buchanan, can you go back to middle school? Are they having a virtual program and an in-person program? How How does that look? I'm looking at the document and I'm just unclear.
It's virtual. We were trying to stay within a certain budget. So what happened was earlier this year we had to ask for a budget supplement because the budget for summer school was not properly budgeted, if you will, and so we had to ask for a budget supplement. And in order to stay within those constraints, we went from K-12 to 3-5 for elementary, and then virtual for middle school.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Buchanan. One more clap. Okay, there we go. All right. Our next item up for discussion is the Fuel Up Equipment Grant for 25-26. Making this presentation is Ms. Lakina Curtis, Director of Federal Programs, and this is in conjunction with Policy DD Grants. Ms. Curtis?
Good evening, Riverview Gardens School Board, colleagues, and community. In collaboration with Food Services, a grant was submitted to apply for a grant called Fuel Up. Fuel Up is an initiative focused on helping our educators and students focus on the areas that matter most, like being mindful and staying healthy. The grant does come classroom ready with resources already available, so there's not anything extra that teachers will have to do. The application is based on the cost of equipment per school, which is valued at $2,000 per building, for an approximate total of $22,000. For the 11 schools that have been applied for, and that information was included for you all. At this time, Food Service and Federal Programs is requesting the acceptance of the application and subsequent acceptance of the Fuel Up Equipment Grant 2025. A recommendation will be presented later in the meeting, and if the grant is available, that will be presented to you all to inform you all of that as well. Are there any questions?
Was there a limit on how many schools could apply? Why just 11?
So I'm not 100% sure on why the 11th. I know there was a challenge with one of the schools being, the grant being submitted on why, I don't want to speak
so
to
basically,
come to the mic.
yes, so we submitted actually for all of our elementary schools, our 2 middle schools, and our high school. Early childhood, since a component of this is related to food service, that is not covered under the school lunch and breakfast program. So this is going to allow us to get some smoothie machines at each of these locations, which will allow us to offer another breakfast option for our students, which is also will meet the nutritional requirements of the school lunch program, so which would of course be reimbursable. So early childhood is not a component of that, so that's why it only pertains to the buildings that I spoke of.
Are there any other questions?
Any other questions? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Curtis. All right, our next item up, Mr. Scheid, you should have stayed right there. Annual review of the fixed price food service management contract with SFE. And making this presentation is Mr. Carl Scheid. He's the Executive Director of Facilities and Food Services, and this is in conjunction with Policy EF Food Service Management. Mr. Scheid.
Good evening, Board of Education, Dr. Patton, colleagues, and community. Tonight I come forward with a contract renewal for SFE. We began our relationship with SFE back in 2023, in which we issued RFPs in compliance with DESE requirements. An agreement was reached, and we have the option of renewing each year for a 4-year period. So this is our second renewal period. Basically what you're seeing here is the cost per meal rates for this upcoming school year. So overall, these prices adjusted between 3.1 and 3.2%. So again, that's just kind of the cost of doing business in terms of increasing food costs, labor costs, and so forth. So again, it is an increase, but not a dramatic increase. And again, this is an area where that cost is below what we're getting reimbursed. So, obviously our food service fund does support and fund itself, and also fund some additional improvements within the food service department. Be happy to take any questions you may have.
Yes. As far as collecting data from the students on, I guess, their evaluation of their experience, has that been done to kind of help us know whether or not the children are enjoying their food options and so forth?
Yes, there have been some surveys that have been collected, and what we will do is we have an annual program evaluation, and we can summarize that information. And as you may recall, a couple months back, we also had our food service director from SFE here who was sharing some information. So we will have more data on that front, just to give you a better snapshot of where we've been and where we're going, and where we need to aim for.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Scheid, stay put. Prop S, exterior lighting upgrade, Part B. This is in conjunction with GJF-2, purchasing. Mr. Scheid.
Good evening, Board of Education. Tonight I bring this item for discussion and later for approval in this meeting. I do want to explain the reasoning for that. The reason we were asking for approval this evening is because there is something time sensitive related to tariffs that will impact our ability to get this at the pricing that we have stated. So that was our intent to seek approval this evening for that very reason. Again, this is part 2, part B of exterior lighting. As you know, back in December, we did a comprehensive presentation of the work we were going to do at each of the elementary schools, or early childhood and middle schools. Tonight, we're going to really focus on the high school and taking down our Ameren poles. So with me tonight is Caleb Knotts with Voss Lighting, and he's going to come up and give us a brief presentation.
Good evening, Board of Directors, Dr. Patton,
Good evening.
and community. Thank you for having me back for phase 2 of the upgrade for all of Riverview, the exterior upgrade. If you wouldn't mind just turning your attention to the screens, as I have a presentation for you. We're going to go over just a reintroduction, if you will, of who we are and what we're doing, as well as the problems that we're fixing in phase 2 and how we're going about doing that. Like we mentioned before, Voss has been around for 80 years. Just coming out of World War II, Mr. Voss started selling light bulbs, and from this it's spiraled into lighting design, specifying, turnkey. We not only sit down with Mr. Scheid and design it, but we also are able to install it ourselves. And I'll get into one of our installers here in a second. This is Jay West. They have been in and around the district for a while. We're using them for 100% of phase 2, and we've been working with them closely on a few opportunities in a few of your buildings already, and they've been doing really well. Just wanted to reiterate the project mission. So brightening every scholar's future, one light at a time. Here's the update. This is the fun part. Some of this you might have seen. So first we have a brand new look for Westview Middle. Totally upgraded lighting. I took this in the wee hours in the morning, and it was really cool to see, because you pull up and it's a much safer environment, much more clean, and you can see much more vibrant colors as well. Here we have, where you guys know very well, the central office, also upgraded. And Glasgow and lots of other locations. So we have, actually, I'm sorry, I believe that was Meadows. The schools that are complete, we have Meadows, Westview, central office, and the facilities are all completed. And then the schools that are near completion, Gibson, Highland, Lewis and Clark, and Central Middle. And these are right at the end of completion. Some of the rain with pouring concrete moves some things around, but it's nice to have the whole operation going at once because we can then deviate workers to putting up wall packs and things that don't involve concrete. So it really is a huge undertaking, but we're taking on the whole district at once and making it happen. Just pointing out some lighting problems for the high school. As you can see in the top right-hand corner, this is, I showed you this before, but that is what it looks like now. So if you were to go out and walk down, there's a couple places where it is this dark, and that's not only Ameren negligence to keep things updated, but it's also just a degrading naturally of existing lighting. And I did want to mention the existing power infrastructure. So these lights are, lights that are on during the day, lights that are off at night, and then of course lights that, I mean, some of them just look beat up. You got to ask how it happened, but talk about the solution. So fixing existing power infrastructure. I'll get into how we're doing that. It actually allows for upgrades in the future. New long-lasting LEDs, new LED layouts, and then also removing the existing Ameren system. So with the existing Ameren system being removed, we had two options at the beginning. We had the option of upgrading, having your own infrastructure, and that real estate being able to use. But also the other option was going through Ameren and upgrading your poles that you had existing. Unfortunately, well, I guess not unfortunately for Ameren, but unfortunately for schools all around St. Louis, the upgrade is expensive. It's a subscription that seems like an easy option at first, but as you can see, over 10 years, you're at $800, and after 20 years, including inflation, you're at almost $1.8 million. That we are just removing that infrastructure altogether, so that never is realized, thankfully. This is a very detailed and labored over, I guess, schematic of all the lighting. You can see that, I wish I had a before, but we will get into a before and after. But this is the complete upgrade. We've added quite a few fixtures to the highly trafficked areas, and then complete lighting layouts, including, if you look at the bottom there, after speaking with the director of athletic director. After speaking with the athletic director, we actually now have floodlights on the poles that we're putting in that are going out on the fields for evening practices and stuff like that. This is where the upgrade comes in. We have two 200 amp circuits that are added. We had it engineered, and we're going to be bringing in two new circuits. This, of course, relieves the load off of any upgrades for the existing infrastructure. So we're not touching anything existing. For the exterior poles, we're actually adding two quasi boxes on each pole, and we're bringing in power. So this is nice because you can have future upgrades for, say, you want a different building, new buildings, pavilions that you want powered or something like that. You'll have that extra power there. A good size home is 100 to 200 amps, so you can imagine how much power you're bringing in at 400. This is the Optiform light. I'll be brief on this, but it is the light that we're going to be using around the campus, if you will. And it is the same light that we supply Lambert Airport. So Lambert Airport doesn't accept anything. They only accept the best, and so we go with Garco, which is the brand. But this is the Optiform light. So they're using it all around, and they actually say, hey, only give us Garco, and so that's what we like to give you guys for longevity. These will be up 15 plus years. In the same family, in the same brand. This is just the floodlights that are flowing out over the sports fields. A very cool aspect, the drone before and after. So this is something that a lot of schools will put on their pages, or a blog talking about their upgrade. It's a really cool before and after. You can see, of course, this was during Christmas time, but we did a parking lot, and it's night and day. Not only do you have no longer is it spotty, but it's clean. You can see all the LED lines connect, and it's if you look on the left, there's something that we like to call hotspots. If you're driving or if you're walking through an area, just how our minds and our eyes adapt to lighting. If you go from a very high concentration of light to low concentration, it feels so much darker, and so that there's just a sense of security when it's all even. Why use controls? We're using controls on this. So there's a, I'll get into it a little bit, and I can also answer any questions at the end, because it can be a little complicated. But controls are the future of lighting. So where we have customers come in and install LEDs, they come back to us a couple years later and say, hey, now we need controls. Because you can degrade, bring down your power consumption from, say you have 100 watts in a light down to, now you're at 10 with an LED. You can even bring it down even further with controls, because maybe that light doesn't need to be on all the time. Or maybe, in this instance, a couple things, including the light could be at 50% capacity, and then once someone enters the premises, it jumps up to 100%. So for most of the hours of the night when no one's there, you're not actually burning all that light, but you still have the even coverage of 50%. Not to mention, when it pops up to 100%, it's a security measure, because people understand that they know that someone knows they're there, and all the cameras can see where light has popped up. So it brings money back into the budget. It increases flexibility and creating desired effect for lighting, and of course future proofing. This is Kasambi. This is what we're using. It's a German brand that we're bringing in for the controls, and it's all going to be remote. So basically, Carl or whoever, or even security guards who have the application downloaded, they can say, hey, I want, we can even split up into zones. So there's a ball game going on. I don't need all of the high school to be, lit up like a Christmas tree, but I do want these sections, this pathway, and around the field to be lit up. And that's the flexibility that they have all through an app. So it's really bringing in cutting edge technology into an area that can use so much of it, and it's so versatile. And this is just reiterating, customers often come back to us looking for the lighting controls. Finally, the solution. So with the diagnosis and removal of failed infrastructure, increasing the lighting levels, bringing the expense money back into the budget, and then the 5-year warranty on lighting, we have come to the solution package, which includes Ameren. So not all this is us. This is there's a portion of it that we've included that's Ameren's cost of ripping everything out. So this is the final. There's nothing after this. So as you can see, just under 750,000 for phase 2. Questions?
Yes, please.
So a couple of questions.
Sure.
So Ameren is paying to get to remove their product.
So Ameren's not paying to remove their product. We would be paying them, but think of it like ending a subscription. So there's like a fee to end the subscription, because we do need their engineers to come out, take down their poles, take down all their wires, take off their lights, but you would be ending the subscription, so you wouldn't be paying Ameren anymore. And one of the big things that was pushing this was a light would go out, and instead of having one of our facility guys get up there and replace it, you have to contact Ameren, because they say don't touch our fixtures, and then it takes, I don't know how long it really took, but it would take a long time for that to incur. So yes, they would be charging to take down their infrastructure, but you recoup that very quickly.
So we're paying for Ameren to remove their product.
Correct. Yes.
And then, okay. So then we're going to put your product, and we're going to be paying Ameren. Of course, we're going to pay the utility part of it, but the product is actually going to now belong to the district.
Correct. Property.
So when something happens to the product, we're going to call you.
Well, here's the thing. When something happens to the product, within the first 5 years, it's going to be completely free, because we trust this product. Like I said, it's the top of the line. And it would be someone that we would be the person to call, just because we're the experts on it. But of course, down the road, anyone could replace these. It's up to you. It's your property.
So down the road, we have a 5-year warranty, let's call it, with your installation. And then, but you said the product would last 15, 20 years. So from year 6 to 20, something's wrong, then we're responsible for it. So do we need Mr. Scheit, electrical personnel to be responsible for maintaining these?
Yes, and so we do currently have electrical staff on hand, and the thing with this is what happens with a lot of LED fixtures, like any fixture, is that over time, some of them will have a shorter than expected lifespan. And so there will be some that we need to swap out or replace.
Okay, I understand
It just
that.
happens. You know, sometimes you get some that are just have a malfunction to them and have to be replaced. Typically, it's a very low failure rate. You know, it's you know, like less than 5%. So it's usually very small amounts. But the key thing of this is, the key takeaway of this is, we're going to get out from under Amren's lighting subscription, because basically when we signed up for it years ago, they said, sure, we'll put a pole on your property and put a light on it, and then they charge us a substantial amount every month. So that is actually a big operating expense, because we have 85 of those lights total throughout the district, and the majority of them are actually here on this campus. So we're going to alleviate that ongoing operational cost of paying that monthly expense. Yes, we are buying our own light, and we are telling Ameren, please take yours away at a cost. But we are getting out from underneath that subscription, because that was a profit center for them. They ultimately we were paying them to put the light there. They were profiting off of it and continue to profit off of it. Yes, we will still be paying for electricity, but much less, because for us to have them upgrade the light fixtures would have cost even more. So we're going to be improving our lighting, getting out from under them, and still reducing our consumption of electricity.
So do we have enough staff, or will you train, I don't know if any special things you have to do, but will we have enough electricians to do this, or will we be hiring?
No, actually, we should be fine with our staffing level now, because with LED fixtures, it's actually less required of our electricians than previous.
Okay.
I mean, it used to be our electricians would be changing light bulbs forever throughout our buildings. However, since we've converted, the interiors already to LED lighting, that's freed up their workload, so they can actually keep up with the demand of exterior and interior. So.
And so the control part that you were explaining, I got a little lost in those weeds. So the lights don't just get brighter when people pass by. It's you control it, or
so there are
work?
just some settings that exist on some of these. So for instance, if there's a lack of motion, the lights will dim down to a lesser percentage of intensity. That's kind of a standard thing. So. And actually, if you go to some of the buildings where they've already installed these lights, that'll happen. If there's nobody around, it kind of kicks down or dims a little bit. And then if somebody pulls on the parking lot or walks near the sensor, then it kicks up to a brighter lighting level. With the controls, this would actually allow us to either shut off or intensify lighting in certain areas. So if we had something going on, this is a prime example. We have a board meeting going on this campus tonight. So we know all of our activity is going to be concentrated here, around the library, the sidewalk, and leading the parking areas. So we can intentionally intensify the lighting there to make it brighter, while, not doing as much in other areas of the campus where we know there's, not people. We'll have minimal lighting, but we won't just be burning everything bright. So the lighting controls allows us to manipulate the system, and to focus the lighting efforts where we need to.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
My question was around, what's the remaining balance for the prop after this project?
We still have several $1 million. Well, we have this project. I'm going to present another one in a minute too. But we still have our athletic field improvements that are out there. We have fencing that's out there, and some security systems. So I don't have that exact figure here now, but I will be coming back with updates in May actually on the projects, and I can give you that specific information.
Mr. Scheit, how long would it take to complete this Phase 2 lighting project if approved?
Okay.
this will be a part of phase one in the way that we're shooting at the latest August. So that's at the latest, but the hope is July.
Thank you.
Especially with how far we've come in such little time. It's been a well-oiled machine, thankfully, with the guys we've been using, and it's been ahead of schedule. So it's all flying colors so far.
And you have to wait until Ameren takes everything down before you can start, or you can just start?
That's a good question. We've coordinated with Ameren. So we've talked to their engineers, they've talked to ours, and in places where their infrastructure is currently there and it needs to be taken down, we'll have to wait for them to remove it. But for everything else, I'd say 90% of it we're able to do without having to remove Ameren infrastructure. But we've already coordinated it.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Scheid, moving right into your Prop S door replacement ADA improvements in conjunction with policy DJF-2 purchasing.
Okay, and we continue. So now we're going to shift gears into our next Prop S package, which is door replacements and ADA improvements. Again, this we're doing in partnership with Amoresco, who has presented previously. They were here a couple months ago, and we were doing secure entry vestibules. So this package really focuses in on ADA improvements, primarily centered around Central Middle School, and then door repairs, replacements, and so forth. So I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to representatives from Amoresco. I have Dana Dunn and Sean Bowerly here, and they're going to run through a brief presentation.
Hello there. Hi there.
Hi.
I'm Dana Dunn with Amoresco. Good to be with you here again tonight. This is Sean Barley, and we're just grateful to be here with you again tonight. We're going to be talking about the ADA project at Central Middle School and the door replacement repair project throughout the district. Scott Fowler, who is a team member of ours, most of you probably recognize him, remember him. He's unable to be here tonight, but he's very much so a part of this project. I have a slide in here about Amoresco. I'm not going to go into it. Y'all are familiar with this. This is we've done 10 phases of work for Riverview Gardens, going back to 2005. So we're once again grateful to be here. So I'm going to turn this over to Sean. Sean has walked every single building and has gone through every single door within your district multiple times. Same with Mr. Sheet here. They both have done this, and I'm going to turn it over to Sean.
Thank you, Dana. Just to kind of elaborate a little bit further on what we're doing as far as ADA renovations and door renovations here. So Central Middle ADA compliance upgrades. ADA is American Disabilities Act, so basically upgrading the space for handicap accessibility. Part of what we're doing is reconfiguration of some non-compliant student door openings at the middle school. There's, I think, roughly 6 of them. So there's not very many of them that aren't. We are doing some door replacement there that does need to be addressed. We've got some elevators, one elevator going in and a chair lift, so that way you'll have accessibility access to each floor. The chair lifts are going on the north side where the student classrooms are. The elevator would be more between the cafeteria and the gym on the south side of the building. Currently, the home ec room is not ADA accessible, so we're taking one of the kitchen spaces. We'll make that ADA accessible with caseware, sink, etc. Then we're going to create a space that will be an ADA compliant locker room just off of the gym area. The main entry, as far as the security, that was addressed with the previous amendment, so that secure entry will be ADA compliant. And we're moving some ADA parking spots up closer to the front of the building. Right now they're kind of out there at the back lot and a little hard for somebody that's needs the ADA accessibility to get into the building, so we're going to move those up towards the front. This next slide's it's a little bit of an eye chart, but the graphic on the far left shows where the elevator is going to go. There's a ADA compliant restroom there. That, again, that's the space between the cafeteria and the gym. The graphic in the middle at the top, that's a unisex ADA restroom as well. At the bottom's the location, the middle bottom's the location for the ADA locker room. And the far right graphic is the ADA kitchen that will be renovated. Door replacements and repairs. Again, like Dana mentioned, we've walked the building several times, identified the doors that were the worst of the worst. Some doors are newer, like Westview Middle, they're great shape. So, again, if the door's worn, doesn't meet compliance, we're going to address those. The schools affected are listed there on the left. You know, a good example, kind of an ugly door there in the middle. It's not real secure. It has a louver in it. So those are the types of doors that we are addressing in this package. A few door frames will be refreshed, repainted, repaired, and anywhere that we can reuse good hardware, we'll obviously reuse that as needed. As far as finalizing, we'll be working on the permit drawings here right away for all the ADA accessibility. At the middle school, we're going to do what we can yet this summer, but we'll be wrapping up the elevator and the chair lifts next summer in 2026. Doors will get started as soon as we can. We're looking at roughly fall. We're going to try to tackle what we can second shift. We want to minimize disruption with the building, so we'll kind of tackle a couple doors of a night. We'll be coordinating with Carl as we go through. That way we can just get through those as quickly as possible and make those upgrades versus waiting till summer. Turn it back over to Dana.
So we're excited because, and I haven't forgotten about you, and I know that Ms. Liddell is very excited about this. We're going to be working on this Path to Trades program. Very excited for this. We are going to bring this into Riverview Gardens if this is something that you all would like to do. It's an awesome program. We start with the freshman and sophomore students, and we're doing it over there at Rittner School District. And it's an awesome program, and we're really looking forward to doing this with you all. And at the end of the day, I can tell you that this makes a difference in these students' lives because we're exposing them to something that they're not familiar with, and an avenue and a path that can be converted into a very good, sustaining job and future for these students.
And so Ms. Liddell and I met with the superintendent of Rittner, and they sang the praises of this program, and so we are excited to have our students have this experience. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Awesome. So that's a go, I take it. Is that true? We're close to it.
Close to it.
Close to it. That's right. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
That's right.
Happy to take any questions you may have.
Ms. Lane.
So, I don't know a whole lot about ADA, but I believe it kind of sounds like a government term, Americans with Disability. So, you guys have someone on your staff who is an ADA compliant officer, so we know that whatever it is that we're approving actually does fall underneath the ADA, or do we have to have someone to come in and inspect everything you did to say, yes, it's compliant, or no, it's not compliant?
So there is an architect that specializes in this type of work, and they design to make something ADA accessible. So for instance, you talked about how we've been walking around the buildings and so forth. The architect has also been examining that in order to make the design so that we can do this and make sure it's ADA compliant. So yes, and that's where an architect is required. So they have an architect on staff that is going to handle that component, and then they'll manage the construction process.
Okay, thank you.
Just for clarification, for all these big projects and big tickets, we've done our bidding and RFP process for all of them.
Yeah,
Okay.
in this case, we're using the co-op purchasing.
Okay.
You know, as previously discussed, so.
Any other questions?
Thank you. Carl, stay put, because you
Yes.
have the next item, which is the food service labor transition plan. And there's no policy identified, so.
All right, good evening. Tonight I'm bringing an item forward for discussion. This is in relation to our labor transition plan for food service. So as you're aware, we partnered with Southwest Food Service back in 23-24 school year in order to operate and enhance our food service program. At that time, we did retain our kitchen managers and our warehouse transport workers as district staff as we made that transition. In our recent forays into looking at all of our operations and how we can right size and make things more cost effective, we did look at our food service operation, and that did identify an opportunity in which we can make some reductions in our remaining food service, in-house food service staff, and transition those to SFE to take over. So that did present both a financial and operational savings, and the intent would be, since we already have an existing contract with SFE, we're just intending to, this would kind of serve as an extra billing, so we would cease having those employees as employees of the district, but we would pay SFE for that labor cost, and which is a reduction overall.
Yes, it's a reduction. The cost that SFE will accept our employees is $190,351. For the district, that is the total savings for all of the positions, including the ones that have recently submitted their retirement and one that has been a part of the resizing. It will be a total savings of over $356,000.
So we've had conversations with those individuals, so they have been notified of this change. We are, of course, waiting to see which direction they are wanting to go. Some people may, take an option to stay and make the transition. Some people may not. Some people may retire. So that's why this is an item for discussion. It may change slightly between now and the next board meeting, depending on what those outcomes may be. Be happy to take any questions you may have.
Thank you,
All
Mr.
right.
Scheid.
Thank you.
The last item up for discussion is the Board of Education meeting schedule for the 25-26 school year. Making this presentation is Ms. Shay Fields, coordinator for the board. And this is in conjunction with Policy BDA board meetings.
Good evening, Board of Education, Dr. Coleman, community. I am presenting this item on behalf of our superintendent, as well as
We're going to
the
do it
board.
together.
Yes, we are. Actually, we would normally just submit a calendar to the board and ask you to look at those dates and approve those dates. However, what we're intending to do moving forward for the 25-26 school year is to propose having our first board meeting of every month be an actual work session, so that you will have the opportunity to ask more in-depth questions and get additional information about agenda items. And so I've listed here somewhat of a structure that we could follow in looking at how the meetings would be set up. And then the second meeting of each month would be our regular board meeting. And so it would consist of the topics that I have listed here, like Riverview Excellence, public comments, announcements, the consent agenda, which will be those items that you've had the opportunity to discuss at the work session. So What we're proposing is that you look at the attachment that has the dates and locations. I believe we're only missing 2, and we should have those soon, I hope, in terms of the location. So wanted to open it up for discussion if you had any questions. And also, I know we're looking into having a board retreat of some sort so that we can actually go in depth a little bit further as to what this will look like. So this is just a proposal for the 25-26 school year. So we would not start until that first meeting in July.
And I would like to just add, board members, this is an opportunity to just make sure everybody has an understanding of everything that's being approved, ask all of the questions. We don't always have that opportunity. You may feel limited by you don't want to keep asking questions. So this allows, the work session allows us to sit around a table. It allows for transparency, ask all the questions that you may have, and then get a firm understanding before we move those items to the consent agenda for approval. So that would be the objective of it.
Any questions?
Yes, ma'am. So is this the first meeting at Central Services? Is that a closed session meeting, or is that
So thank you for asking. So each meeting, we will have the opportunity to have a closed session so that there's approval of any personnel or legal items. The actual open part of the work session that would take place would, what we're envisioning is like a round table discussion, very informal, not as formal of a meeting.
But there is an opportunity for the public to come into that meeting,
Yes.
Ms. Lane. It
Okay.
will be an open meeting
Yes.
so that we are completely transparent with our community, with board members. So,
Okay.
yeah, we would have the opportunity to have an audience if they wanted to come and watch the work session.
Okay.
But
Yes.
also a closed session as well.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes.
Madam Chair, as part of the Region 7 Executive Committee, I've gone to a couple of those meetings where they've had the workshop part of it. And I think that would be really instrumental for us. I like that idea. And you can ask questions, just so you can get an understanding of whether you're a part of their district or not. So I think it'd be really beneficial for us. I've enjoyed attending them. I think I've attended Parkway. I know I've attended like 8. So, yeah. And they have the work sessions. I think that's great.
There any other-
Yes, I have a question. So are we saying that, the work sessions will be at Central Services?
Yes.
And then when we have our general board meetings, it will be at the various locations. I would like to propose that for work sessions that we be virtual.
The benefit for me, if I could, Madam Chair, the benefit for me when I attended those meetings, you have a tendency, like if you're on virtual sometimes, where, what's the best way to, you may not get recognized, you know what I'm saying, or you may not think about your question, but there are other people when it's live, it's kind of hard to explain, but when it's live, questions will come to you that maybe you didn't think of when you were on virtual or whatever, and it's kind of hard to explain because I have been the one that was virtual, but I really like the ones that were in person because people can ask their questions, you get your answers and what have you, whereas the one that was virtual.
Yeah, being in person lends itself certainly to being engaged. I'm sorry. Being in person lends itself to being engaged in the meeting, and I think that when you're virtual, part of the engagement piece is lost, and we want this to be a round table, everybody in and engaged and taking part, and because like we have discussions and we go, well, this should have been done that way, or this should have been, those things might kind of fall by the wayside if we're virtual. And then when you're virtual, you have all those distractions that the doorbell rings or the dog barks or you got to take the dog out or whatever. It's just lends yourself to being engaged. Yes.
My other suggestion is for board meetings to be at central services, and then maybe the work sessions be where we rotate so that people can have a consistent place to go to for our board meetings.
So, did you,
Okay, I'm sorry. Were you saying something, Monica?
Oh, somebody couldn't hear me. I was just suggesting that.
No, we
Oh.
heard, we were wondering, was that the end of your statement?
Oh, for that, yes.
Okay.
Mhm.
Ms.
I
Williams?
think she had.
Okay. Mrs. Fields, were you about to say something?
no, I was going to go back and address
I can wait,
Dr.
go ahead.
May's request to let the board know that those details are in your policy. So if the board so wills, it would need to really go back to the policy to define that. Every board meeting, board members are allowed to attend them
However you want, virtually or in
virtually.
person.
And so that is an option. And so the policy provides guidance as to, your requests and what should be done. And so we'll make that meeting accessible regardless.
Okay. Mrs. Fields, so can you give me just, I'm trying to visualize the board meeting.
Yes, ma'am.
So the board meeting would just be then voting on what we've discussed during the work session? Like, what would a board meeting?
So
agenda
similar to
look
what
like?
we did here, minus your discussion items.
Okay, gotcha.
So your discussion items, you would have already had those presented to you in the work session. The person who is presenting that item, we're still working out some details, but still have the opportunity to share that detailed information in the agenda item content area, with background, justification, and so forth. And then just allow board members to ask questions, more in-depth questions.
And
So
then-
just minus the discussion piece today.
Okay, so is it possible that some of those discussion items might end up in the board meeting, or they'll always have to wait until there's a work session?
So again, we have the flexibility to build the agenda, which is the luxury of having the community, diligent community platform. So we won't say it's just a one size fits all, but what we're trying to do is just make it accessible and allow board members to have those conversations that they need to have to gain a better understanding. And also, if you look at the last bullet point, where it says other appropriate topics. So as we build the board annual obligations document in the district leadership team meetings, if there are meetings where the agenda is short, maybe there's only a few, then that will allow for topics that need to be discussed among the board. It could be topics surrounding the budget. It could be topics surrounding program evaluation. So we're still really putting it together at this point. And so we're looking for your feedback. It's your meeting.
No, I like the idea. I was just wondering because from time to time we have discussion
Yes,
items where
ma'am.
we're asking for approval
Action as well. Yes, ma'am.
that night, and so I'm just wondering where does that fit with
Absolutely.
this format?
So again, if we're following the guidelines of the policy, whenever there's an emergency, that's the ask. And so if something needs to be moved forward in the same meeting, we'll still follow the same protocols. Yes,
Thank you.
You're welcome. Anything else, Dr. Batten? So I will welcome your feedback, questions as well via email. That will allow, I'm sorry, Ms. Tisworth, did you have a question?
As far as the virtue,
Yes, ma'am. The virtual option?
I don't like that.
Yes, ma'am.
I think
So
we all
noted.
need to come together personally,
Okay.
instead of being on TV,
Yes, ma'am. Understood. Ms. Tisworth says she's not in favor of a virtual option.
She can be in person.
Ms. Jackson, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I just had a question. I noticed that we're going back to some of our meetings at different schools again this year
Yes,
than we
ma'am.
did last year. Is that in the policy that we do that? Because I'm
Thank
not
you for
understanding why we
asking the
don't go
question.
to all the schools. It's every year is the same different schools,
I
but we're not
appreciate
going to
that.
all the schools.
So I'll address and then I can let Ms. Nave chime in. It is not in the policy. It was done with an effort to engage our community in the board meetings, because when you think about it, we're community-based schools, and so when we're having the meetings at the schools, it allows parents, if they can, to show up to those meetings. Also, it allows principals in those buildings to showcase the great things that they're you know, doing at their schools. And Ms. May, she want to know why we keep having the same schools, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And so this document was shared with the principals, and the principals had an opportunity to sign up for their specific building to host. There will be some opportunity for, there are 2 slots remaining, but there will be a space where, since we only have so many board meetings, we'll have to have some that are doubled up at one location. And so I have 2 slots remaining, so if your school is not on here, principal, please add your school.
Oh, no, I don't care about a certain school. I'm just saying that to me, in the meetings, there's really never anybody in there anyway, but the
Right.
people, the faculty and us. So why are we going around to all these different schools?
It just, we
And
can
because
change it.
If that was something that the board was gonna do, because to me, as a board member, that should be my initiative anyway, to go visit the schools. I shouldn't have to wait until we have a meeting to go visit the school. And then when we go visit the school, we're in a meeting in the evening, nobody's there.
So one of the objectives when this was started, I believe at the start of last school year, was to engage the community, Ms. Jackson, to, you know, because some of them had transportation issues, so we figure if we're in the neighborhood, you can walk right over. Like you're Lewis and Clark, they can walk right over. You know, those neighborhood schools, they can walk right over. So it was our attempt to engage our community. And I do hear your concerns, because 9 times out of 10, the people in the room are the staff members and the board members. But I do think it's an important part of just, you know, we can say we delivered a board meeting right in your community. So when our community says they're not aware of things, or they didn't know this, or they didn't know that, we are attempting to keep them informed and to keep them engaged. Is it working the way we would like? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. But we do have a lot of staff that come out, like what you saw here tonight. And then, when you talk about the continuous improvement piece, that Ms. Sharp will continue thanks to our continued contract, that's important too. Would you like to speak to that, Ms. Sharp?
Certainly. Thank you. Certainly, this creates an opportunity for us to have more engagement and to share the progress that we are making in all of our schools. And so it's just a unique opportunity to be specific and highlight schools, and to have the board meetings in those schools. But also, it is letting people know the work that is occurring in our district, especially with the turnaround school work and all of the initiatives that are occurring in terms of continuous improvement.
Thank you, Ms. Sharp.
At this time, we approve this all at once, right? A motion to approve the items for action.
We gotta do them one by one.
Oh, okay. Item A, summer school, summer enrichment 25, school year 25.
All right, so I'll go ahead and do them all. I'll make a motion to approve item A, summer school enrichment, item B, fuel up equipment grant, C, Prop S, exterior lighting upgrade, Part B, and that's it. And D, we didn't, we gotta read those, so I'll just do those letters first. Okay, so, items A through C is what I'm making a motion for at this time.
Second.
Items, A through C, which is summer school, summer enrichment, fuel up equipment grant, and the Prop S exterior lighting upgrade. We have to read off the election results, and so,
It's been motioned to approve items for actions A through C, and I believe is that a second by Ms. Monica Williams. Any questions? All approved?
Aye.
Any, no? Okay. All right, approved. And now, I'm
She
sorry.
got the election results.
Yes, and now, Shay, would you like to present the election results?
Thank you. So today, while I was in Dr. Patton's office, I had a special delivery of certified mail, and that certified mail included the election, the official election results. And so I will read those to you all. Want to also congratulate Dr. Coleman as she received, the vote count was, let's make it a little bigger. So the total vote count for Dr. Nikita Coleman is 1,028 votes, which was 40.19% of the total votes casted. And our second candidate, who also I would like to congratulate, is Ms. Wanda Lane. She received 865 votes, which was 33.82%. Those are our official results for the election, and I'm asking that the board accept those official results.
I move to accept the results of the election that includes Nikita Coleman, Theo Brown, Wanda Lane, and Frank Green as the candidates.
Second.
It's been moved by Dr. May and second by Ms. Jackson to accept the election count as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Any opposed? No.
And they gotta take their oath first. Take their oath.
Yeah. Oh, it's almost the same.
So we are moving right into the board
Don't we all take it?
Okay, come on up, everybody, board members. She's
all of
talking
us.
to me.
Dr. Patton will take the podium. The board members can stay where they are. She's going to.
Is it all of us or just?
So I will say this. I definitely have to have the oath of office administered to our new.
And that's it.
However, I have been told, and I made extra copies, that other board members who are wanting and willing to can also be administered the oath of office as well. So it's up to you.
We did it, everybody.
So yeah, 1 year everyone did it, but what is required is that the newly elected individuals.
Did I do it last year?
You did. I have signed copies of it. So if Ms. Lane and Dr. Coleman would stand, please. And raise your right hand. And I'm going to read, and you will follow that too. All right, so the oath of office for the member of the Board of Education for the Riverview Garden School District. I state your
Wanda
names. Okay. Do solemnly swear
Do solemnly swear
that you will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Missouri,
and the Constitution of the State of Missouri,
and that you will faithfully and impartially
and that I will faithfully and impartially
discharge the duties of school director in and for
discharge the duties of school director in and for
the Riverview Garden School District
the Riverview Garden School District
of St. Louis County
of St. Louis County,
of the State of Missouri
State of Missouri,
to the best of my ability
to the best of my ability
and in accordance with the law.
and in accordance to the law.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Need your signature. Dr. Pat?
At this time, I would like to officially welcome Dr. Nikita Coleman and Ms. Wanda Lane back to the Riverview Garden School Board. Can we give them another round of applause? In accordance with with Board Policy BCA Board reorganizational meetings, we are holding the annual reorganizational meeting within the 14-day allotted time period. The newly elected members will take did take their oath of office, after which I am going to conduct the president and the election for the president and vice president, and then turn the election process over to the newly elected president. We will follow the guidelines of the Robert Rules of Order, meaning the first nominations to receive the majority of the votes will be elected to that position. With this in mind, I would like to open the nominations for the president of the Riverview Garden School Board. Are there any nominations?
Superintendent,
Yes, ma'am.
I would like to nominate Dr. Nikita Coleman for president of the Board of Education.
I have Dr. Nikita Coleman nominated for president. Are there any more nominations?
I would like to nominate Monica Williams.
We have Monica Williams nominated as board president. Are there any other nominations?
Yes, I would like to be nominated for board president.
We have Miranda Avant Elliott nominated as board president. Are there any other nominations? With no other nominations being noted, I would like to ask for a motion to close the nomination for president of the Riverview Garden School Board.
Madam Superintendent, I so move.
It was moved by Ms. Mario. Can I get a second?
Second.
I have a second. Each of, now we will, all in favor, I'm sorry. All in favor, aye. Any opposed? Shay, I'm glad you're sitting right there. I've named each person already. I'm asking Dr. Nikita Coleman, do you accept your nomination?
Yes.
Ms. Monica Williams, do you accept your nomination?
Yes.
Dr. Miranda Avant Elliott, do you accept your nomination?
Yes.
With that in mind, may I have a motion to accept Dr. Nikita Coleman as president, who was nominated as president of the Riverview Garden School Board?
What are you looking for?
A motion.
I make the motion to accept Dr. Coleman as president.
Can I get a second? Shay, can I get a roll call vote?
Yes. Ms. Jackson?
No.
Dr. Von Elliott?
No.
Dr. Coleman?
Yes.
Ms. Morrill?
No.
Ms. Lane?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
No.
Ms. Tisworth?
Yes.
We need to go to the second.
I would like,
The
May I
motion
ha-
fails, I'm sorry, let me state that. The motion did fail, so we would need to go to the second nomination.
may I have a motion to accept Monica Williams as the Riverview Garden School Board president?
Madam Chair, I so move.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Shay, can I get a roll call vote?
Yes. Ms. Jackson?
No.
Dr. Von Elliott?
No.
Dr. Coleman?
No.
Ms. Morrill?
Yes.
Ms. Lane?
No.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
And Ms. Tisworth?
No.
Okay. That motion fails as well. We would need to go on to our third candidate nomination.
May I have a motion to accept Miranda Avant Elliott as the Riverview Garden School Board president?
Motion. So moved.
Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Shay, roll call vote.
Ms. Jackson?
Yes.
Dr. Von Elliott?
Yes.
Dr. Coleman?
No.
Ms. Morrill?
No.
Ms. Lane?
No.
Ms. Williams?
No.
Ms. Tisworth?
We vote no.
Avant
Dr.
Elliott?
Miranda Avant Elliott.
Okay, so that motion fails as well. Dr. Patton, you may open up the
Nominations
the
again?
nominations again. So with that being said, no one won that round of nominations.
Okay. We have had, may I get a motion, okay, hold on, I gotta go back. Okay. I'm opening the floor for nominations for President of the Riverview Garden School Board.
Superintendent,
Yes, ma'am.
I nominate Nikita Coleman for president of the Riverview Garden School Board of Education.
Are there any other nominations?
Yes, I nominate myself.
Are there any other nominations?
I would nominate myself.
Are there any other nominations? Okay, seeing no other nominations, I would like to make a motion to close the nomination for the president of the Riverview Garden School Board.
Madam Chair, I so move.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? At this moment, I would like to ask, oh, wait a minute, Dr. Coleman, do you accept your nomination?
Yes.
Dr. Avant Elliott, do you accept your nomination?
Yes.
Ms. Williams, do you accept your nomination?
Yes.
Okay, may I have a motion to accept Dr. Nikita Coleman as president of the Riverview Garden School Board?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Shay, roll call vote, please.
Ms. Tisworth?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
No.
Ms. Lane?
Yes.
Ms. Morrill?
No.
Dr. Coleman?
Yes.
Dr. Avant Elliott?
No.
Ms. Jackson?
No.
Dr. Patton, we will need to move to our second nomination.
May I have a motion to accept Dr. Miranda Avant Elliott as the Riverview Garden School Board president?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Shay, roll call vote.
Yes, Ms. Tisworth?
No.
Ms. Williams?
No.
Ms. Lane?
No.
Ms. Morrill?
No.
Dr. Coleman?
No.
Dr. Von Elliott?
Yes.
Ms. Jackson?
Yes.
Dr. Patton, that motion fails. We will need to move on to our third nomination.
May I have a motion to accept Monica Williams as the Riverview Garden School Board president?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Shay, roll call vote, please.
Yes, Ms. Tisworth?
No.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Lane?
No.
Ms. Morrill?
No. No.
No to Monica.
Uh-huh.
Dr. Coleman?
No.
Dr. Von Elliott?
Yes.
Ms. Jackson?
Yes.
Dr. Patton?
Yes, ma'am. May I have a motion?
We
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, we will need to request nominations for board president. That motion failed as well.
All right. I would like to ask for a motion to, well, hold on. No, we need nominations. I would like to open the nominations for board president of the Riverview Garden School Board.
Superintendent,
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to nominate Nikita Coleman for president of the Riverview Garden School Board of Education.
Are there any other nominations?
Yes, I would like to nominate myself again.
Are there any other nominations? Hearing none, I would like to ask for a motion to close the nominations for president of the Riverview Garden School Board.
Madam Chair, I so move.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Dr. Nikita Coleman, you have been nominated to be the Riverview Garden School Board president. Do you accept your nomination?
Yes.
Ms. Monica Williams, you have been nominated to be the president of the Riverview Garden School Board. Do you accept your nomination?
Yes.
May I have a motion to accept Dr. Nikita Coleman as the Riverview Garden School Board president?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Shay, roll call vote, please. I think it was Ms. Titsworth.
Ms. Tisworth?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
No.
Ms. Lyon?
Yes.
Ms. Marbury?
No.
Dr. Coleman?
Yes.
Dr. Von Elliott?
No.
Ms. Jackson?
No.
Dr. Patton, we will need to move to our next step. Motion failed.
I would like to make a motion to accept Ms. Monica Williams as the Riverview Garden School Board president.
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Shay, roll call vote, please.
Ms. Tisworth?
No.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Lane?
No.
Ms. Morrill?
Yes.
Dr. Coleman?
No.
Dr. Von Elliott?
Yes.
Ms. Jackson?
Yes.
Dr. Patton? That motion passes with 4-3 vote for Ms. Monica Williams to be the board president.
Ms. Monica Williams, you have been elected to be the school board president of the Riverview Garden School Board.
Vice President.
We move to vice president now. Can I get a motion? Oh, I'm sorry. Do I need to close it? Do I need to close the? Okay. Can I get a nomination for the vice president of the Riverview Garden School Board?
I would like to nominate myself for vice.
Madam Superintendent, I would like to nominate Nikita Coleman.
Are there any other nominations?
I would like to nominate Von Elliott.
Are there any other nominations?
Superintendent, I'd like to nominate Sharon Titsworth.
Any other nominations? Seeing none, I would like to ask for a motion to close the nomination for the vice president of the Riverview Garden School Board.
Madam Superintendent, I so move.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Second.
Not sure who said it first. Was it Ms. Jackson? Okay. Those in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Dr. Avant Elliott, do you accept your nomination as Vice President?
Yes.
Dr. Coleman, do you accept your nomination as Vice President? Ms. Tisworth, do you accept your nomination as Vice President?
Yes.
Was there another nomination? Okay, very good, thank you. May I have a motion to accept Dr. Avant Elliott as Vice President of the Riverview Garden School Board?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Shay, roll call vote, please.
Yes. Ms. Jackson?
Oh, yes.
Dr. Avant Elliott?
Yes.
Dr. Coleman?
No.
Ms. Maureen?
No.
Ms. Lane?
No.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Tisworth?
No.
Dr. Patton, that motion fails. We would need to move to our second, well, Ms.
Ms. Tisworth. May I have a motion to accept Sharon Tisworth as the Vice President of the Riverview Garden School Board?
So moved.
Okay. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Shay, roll call vote, please.
Yes. Ms. Tisworth, right?
Yes.
Ms. Tisworth?
Yes.
Ms. Williams?
No.
Ms. Lane?
Yes.
Ms. Maureen?
Yes.
Dr. Coleman?
Yes.
Dr. Avant Elliott?
No.
Ms. Jackson? Ms. Jackson?
Yes.
Dr. Patton, that motion passes for Ms. Sharon Tisworth to be the Vice President of the Board of Education.
Ms. Sharon Tisworth, you have been elected to be the Vice President of the Riverview Garden School Board.
Ms. Williams will be presiding over the rest of the meeting to accept the nominations for our delegates for the Missouri School Board Association. You want to do it there, or you want to come here? Or?
Wherever you want me. I want you near
Okay.
somewhere. Okay. I'll come there.
And I was gonna do that at the next meeting.
So you want to open up for nominations for the delegate? We'll do both, the delegate and then we'll do the alternate, just the same way we did with Dr. Patton.
Okay, so do the delegate first?
Yes.
Okay.
So,
I would like to open up nominations for the delegate for the board.
I nominate myself.
I nominate Mrs. Lane.
I decline.
I nominate Ms. Jackson.
She nominated Ms. Tisworth.
To do what?
Delegate.
ask if there are any other nominations.
Are there any other nominations for delegate?
And you want to ask for a motion to close all the nominations?
I would like to ask for a motion to close the nominations for delegate.
I so move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
We'll start with the first candidate, which is Dr. Nikita Coleman.
Okay, we will start with the first candidate for delegate, which is Dr. Nikita Coleman. We have a motion.
So moved.
I second.
Okay, it has been moved and properly second. Ready for the vote?
Would you all like to do a roll call vote or a show of hands? Like I did. Ms. Jackson, may I have your vote, please?
No.
Dr. Von Elliott?
No.
Dr. Coleman?
Yes.
Ms. Moreau?
Yes.
Ms. Lane?
Yes.
So, Ms. Tisworth? This is for Dr. Coleman to serve as the MSBA delegate.
Yes.
Okay. And Madam President, how would you like to vote?
No.
Okay, that motion passes. Dr. Nikita Coleman, with a vote of 4-3, will serve as the Riverview Garden School District Board of Education delegate for MSBA. So we want to now open up the nominations for the alternate delegate.
Okay, we're now accepting nominations for the alternate delegate.
I'll serve as alternate.
She's waiting, she needs a nomination.
Do you want nominations?
Yes, we're opening up the floor for nominations for alternate or someone.
Ms. Jackson?
Ms. Jackson.
She just said no. Why would you?
She said no.
I didn't hear her decline.
I ain't heard Ms. Jackson say no.
Are you,
Okay, well.
did she say anything? We can't hear her
Did you
down
say
here.
no, Ms. Jackson?
Ms. Jackson, are you accepting the nomination for alternate delegate?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
So we had
I nominate Miss Mara Real for alternate.
Dr. Nikita Coleman nominated Ms. Maura Real.
I'll second.
We do not need a second for the nomination. Are there any other nominations on the floor?
No.
Okay, then, Madam President, we need to have a motion to close the nominations.
Okay,
So move.
Second.
Okay, so we can go ahead with our vote.
You don't have a one.
we have two. We have Dr. Von Elliott, right?
Oh, I didn't hear
And
her.
Ms. Maura Real. So we'd like to start our vote for Dr. Von Elliott for alternate delegate. May I have a motion?
So moved.
Have a second?
Second.
Yes.
Ready? Yes. Ms. Tisworth?
It's for Yvonne Elliott.
Yes.
I'm so no.
Madam President? I'm just going back. Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Lane?
No.
Ms. Monreal?
No.
Dr. Coleman?
No.
Dr. Von Elliott?
Yes.
Ms. Jackson?
Yes.
Long night already.
So we will need to move to our second nomination.
More real.
May I
That
have-
motion failed.
Okay, may I have a motion for our second alternate delegate, Ms. Maura Real?
So move.
Ms. Tisworth, yes.
Second.
it.
I'm second.
Ms. Tisworth, second.
Has been moved and properly second. We're ready for the vote.
Yes. Ms. Tisworth, how would you like to vote?
Maura
Maria,
Real.
yes.
Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Ms. Lane,
Yes.
Ms. Morrell,
Yes.
There we go.
Dr. Coleman,
Yes.
Dr. Von Elliott, and Ms. Jackson.
No.
So that motion passes for Ms. Morrow, Ms. Veronica Morrill to be the alternate delegate for the Missouri School Board Association, representing the Board of Education.
Madam Chair, I would like to make a motion that we proceed with selecting board secretary and treasurer tonight.
If that is the case, you can ask for a motion and vote to proceed. The vote is whether or not the board would like to proceed with those two positions tonight. And then we can take a vote. If so, then we can move forward. If the motion fails, then we do not.
Okay. I would like a motion. Did you already make the motion?
I already made the motion.
Make
We
the
just need a
motion
second.
for the board to proceed tonight for the election of a board secretary
And treasurer,
and treasurer?
yes.
And treasurer.
We need a second, please.
What'd you say?
She didn't hear. We making a motion.
That gave me a headache.
The
Second.
It has been moved and seconded.
Do you want a roll call vote? Do you want to just do all in favor?
All in favor, yeah, it's fine.
All in
I
favor
want to do
of,
a roll
Aye.
call vote.
Ms. Morrill has asked for a roll call vote.
Okay.
Ms. Tisworth, how would you like to vote?
No.
Ms. Williams, how?
No.
Ms. Lane?
No.
Ms. Morrill?
No.
Dr. Coleman?
No.
Dr.
Yes.
Von Elliott? Ms. Jackson? The motion fails. We will not have that selection of secretary and treasurer at this time. Is there anything else, Dr. Patton?
That's it.
I would like to ask for a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
I second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Good night, everybody. Thank you.
Night.